Again, making multiple page documents inside of Illustrator is probably not the easiest thing to do. You can do it. One of the downfalls, again, is that you really don't have a master that you have inside of InDesign, and we'll talk about that when we get to InDesign. In this case, if you want to have multiple page kind of documents or multiple artboards inside of Illustrator, it's of course under the new feature, and we're going to talk about templates in a minute, but let's just talk about new. So under new, inside of Illustrator, of course you have the name of the file, whatever it is. Oops. And then you have a profile if you want. These are pre-made templates that you can have inside there. Of course, we got our print, our web. We already covered some of these. Of course, these are the common print sizes. And if you choose a print one, of course, it's going to choose the RGB color space down here. But if you choose a web one, most likely it's going to choose the RGB color space and not the CMYK that was in the print option, CMYK down there for print. Of course, they have devices, which would be for a cell phone or an iPad. You'll notice you got iPad, iPad mini, iPad, iPhone 5, iPhone 4S. You got your Fire, which is the Amazon, and so on, Nooks and Galaxy. So there's a bunch of different pad devices. Again, I would probably use InDesign because I can export out a little bit better. You got your film and video. And then you have your basic RGB, which is just a way of saying what size you want it to be. But if I say print and I want to make a multi-page document, I might use number of artboards right here. You'll notice it says 2. More than 2, you got 2 maybe, or 3, or 4. You can think of an artboard as, of course, being a separate page. Next to the artboards, you'll notice you have the grid. What the grid is how do you want the artboards to be placed on the screen? Do you want them to be across and then down, or do you want down and up and down, or do you want all of them in a row, all 4 of them going across, or all 4 of them going down? So it really depends upon you. You know, inside of InDesign, they kind of all go down, unless it's a facing page. So, I don't know what this arrow is for. Oh, okay. Do you want to go left or right or left? So you might want to say down if you want, or you could have a grid like this. The spacing, I believe, is the space between each artboard. And then, of course, there's 2 in a column, so 2 next to each other. Again, letter and point size. Of course, you can change to inches if you want so that you can see what the inches are. Let's talk about a bleed for a moment. What is the bleed? Well, it's just a way of determining the edge of the document. In this case, if you want your artwork to go all the way to the edge, you got to do what's called a bleed, where the artwork actually goes a little bit outside of the artboard, so that when they print, they print the color all the way to the edge. Okay, so that's sort of what the bleed is really for. You don't really need to deal with it too much unless you really want the color to go out the edge. Right now it's at 0, 0, 0, 0. Again, we have CMYK colors. We got high raster effects, default, and that's about it. If you hit OK, you'll notice you've got your multiple page document. Some of the things that you might want to consider doing is, if you were going to make a multiple page document, is making sure that things are the same from one page to the other. And I was kind of talking, I have my students in my one class making a design proposal, and each part of the design proposal is kind of a different section. You know, you have your audience, you have your overview, you have you know, your design samples and things like that. And so I was explaining to them that I want them to have the same artwork in the same locations on each page. And we'll do that inside of InDesign because you can make what's called a master. But here in Illustrator, you can't really make a master. I mean, they have a thing called a template, but it's really not a master, and I'll show you why in a little bit. So let's just talk about making artwork here. So if I was going to make it, let's say, a multiple page thing, I might want to, you know, have some graphics. So let's put some graphics on the screen here. Let's put a little title at the top. Oops, nothing's typing. This doesn't look good. Let's delete that. What is that? I don't know. Let's try again. So let's put a little title at the top here. Change the little size here. Change it a little bit. Let's change our font. And then let's put it at the top up here. There we go. So the title of my project here is I Like Sleeping. And then maybe let's talk about and I was talking to the students about making a multiple page document inside of InDesign, and I wanted them to put their copyright information at the bottom of the page. So I'm going to put my name down there, and then of course the date. That's how you copyright. You put your name and date, and of course you should probably have the copyright symbol. Now in InDesign we'll see that there is some special characters in a pull down menu. But of course we don't have the special characters in a pull down menu here inside of Illustrator. So you can get to the special characters, of course, using glyphs inside of Illustrator. So if you haven't used glyphs, glyphs is a way of looking at the fonts in multiple ways. So that, you know, you want to have special character like the @ sign, right? Hey, where's the, well, of course the @ sign's on the keyboard, so that helps already. But of course, the glyphs is a way of getting special characters if you're used to some of the little roof things or things that are over top of letters, right? You got your Enya in Spanish. There it is, Enya, right? It's Kenyatta College, not Canada, right? Okay, good. Okay, so you got your special characters and the glyphs. Where do you find glyphs? It's under Type Glyphs right here. The glyphs change according to what font you have selected. Okay, so right now I have the default font here. So it's just giving me a default glyph. Inside the glyphs, of course, you can have your copyright symbol. If I can find it, I know it's in here somewhere. Somewhere. No. There's an @ sign. Oh, here it is. So I can double click on there and put it in. There's my copyright symbol. So I'm going to put that at the bottom of each of my pages. And then in addition, I can duplicate that. And what else do I want? Oh, let's put our web address. Okay, so let's say that you wanted to make a newsletter or some kind of document that has the same content kind of in the background. The same content in the background. Again, what I'm going to show in InDesign is where you make a master and then all the pages can be kind of duplicated from the master. Where here in InDesign it's a little bit, or in Illustrator it's a little bit tricky. So there's two ways of going about making a new page. We've already started with a multiple page document inside of Illustrator. So what I can do to get the graphics from this page over to this page is I can copy and paste. So I can highlight all the artwork here. And if I copy, of course, Command-C on the keyboard is copy. When I come over to my new document, and so if you're using multiple artboards, you got to kind of click on them. You'll notice that this one is kind of darker than this one. You'll see a black line that goes around it that indicates which artboard is being affected at this point. If I click on this one now, you'll see, oh, it gets a little darker around the outside. So if I want the artwork to be in the same location from this page to this page, I just use the Edit Paste in Place. Paste in place will paste the artwork in the same location as it was on the first page. So that's how you can make pages the same as copying and paste in place. I don't have an easier way of doing that inside of Illustrator. If I do find one, I will try and explain it to you. Another way to make a new artboard with the artwork already in it is to duplicate the artboard with the artwork in it. So I'm going to select again the entire artboard and all the content in it. And this time I'm going to use the artboard tool, which is the artboard tool in the toolbar. And if I hold down the Command-Shift key and I click and drag, oh, is it Command-Shift? Option-Shift, I think. That's it. Option-Shift, not Command-Shift. Option-Shift, and if I click and drag, it'll make a new artboard, okay, with all the same artwork that I had in the other one. Okay, did you see how I did that? Again, it's Option-Shift will allow you to duplicate an artboard with all the same artwork that you had in it before. Okay, so you can make multiple pages simply by using the artboard tool and using Option Shift and clicking and dragging. So that might be an easier way to make a new artboard. So now I have 4 pages that are similar. If you want to delete an artboard, like I don't need these ones here, you can right click and hit the delete key, I believe. Will go away. Something's happening. Or I'm crashing. I don't know how to get rid of an artboard. Is there a way to delete it? Ooh, click on it with the artboard tool. There it goes. Okay. So there you go. I have 3 pages that are all the same. Now you would think, and I'm going to talk about that, you would think that the template feature would be very useful, and it's useful. I can save this as a template right now. Let's do that. So inside of Illustrator, we really haven't talked about templates. What a template is if you look underneath here, you'll notice under File, you got New from Template, then you have Save as Template. New from Template and Save as Template. So all a template is basically an Illustrator file. That's all it really is. There's nothing really different. If I say Save as Template and I'm going to give it a name, I'm going to throw it on the desktop. And then the extension for a template it is AIT. If I hit save, it'll save it. Basically what it saves is the Illustrator document. And what good is that? Well, if I say New from Template and I choose my template, it'll basically give me the same file. It's almost like opening. I really don't understand the use of and why the template is useful. It's just like I opened Illustrator file. It's not quite the same as what you would get in InDesign with a master. So, I don't know. There's also the template option. There is a single one. If you notice here, I made a template already called Rock and Roll Letter. And if I open that up, it's basically a Illustrator file. See it right here? So what I was hoping for, this is what I was really hoping for in a template, is that I could make one document like this, and then I could save it as a template. Then I could make a multiple artwork document in Illustrator, and each page would have all this artwork on it. And it didn't work. I'll show you what I mean. I have a template right now that has one of these in it. If you look right here, and let me close this. Again, you saw it already. If I open it up, again, it has one document. Here it is. It's called Rock and Roll. It has some information at the bottom. See it? One document. So I'm thinking, template, what a great idea. So what I'll do is I want to make, let's say, 8 pages that look just like this. Okay, well, let's do that. If I go underneath File, New, inside the New option, remember you have multiple artboards. So I say, okay, I want to make 8 pages. So I put 8 in there. Wonderful. Then I go through and see all the settings and whatever I want. Then it says templates here at the bottom. See it right here? Templates. I'm like, okay, I'll choose that template and maybe it'll make all 8 pages the same with all my artwork that I want on it. So I go and I choose template. I go and I choose my artwork. And say new, and it still only gives me 1. So I don't have a solution to that. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't. I was hoping, what I was hoping it would do is make 8 pages with the same artwork on all 8 pages. But it just didn't do it. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'll have to do some research into that, and maybe I'll discover the solution. I haven't yet to find anything in the help menu that would allow me to do that, or any video that I've seen that allows me to do that. There are some pre-made templates already inside of Illustrator. If you go under File, New from Template, you'll notice there is a template folder that's inside the Adobe Illustrator folder. Inside that template folder, you'll have a variety of a variety of templates already made for you. Okay? You see ad banner, that's a banner ad for like Yahoo or something. Banner and presentation, boxes, a brochure, business card, card and invitation, CD case, CD print items, gift certificate, labels, promotional, stationery, T-shirt, and website and DVD menu. Okay, so there's some pre-made templates there. If you choose one of the pre-made templates, let's say I wanted to make some business cards, I hit business card, I hit OK. It's going to give me kind of multiple artboards, as you can see, in a variety of different kind of pre-made layouts. So that's what the template is inside of Illustrator. The ones that come when you install the software, again, it's under File, New from Template. You have a variety. Of course, the CD cases are always good ones. There's that. We call these CD case jewel cases. And you know, these are the templates to make a CD case. But of course, I probably wouldn't use the template from Illustrator. If you're going to make a CD, I would find the company that's going to mass produce your CD and use their artwork. Like the #1 company that makes CDs, of course, is the I don't even know if they're still in business, but they were, what was it, Disc Makers. So if I go to Disc, D-I-S-C, why is it D-I-S-C and not D-I-S-K? Does anybody know? Notice when we spell disc for a CD disc, it's D-I-S-C. And if we're talking about the hard drive in your computer, it's D-I-S-K. What's the difference? I'll give you a Jeopardy ding if you want. Think about a CD. What does it look like? Kind of shiny, right? Why is it shiny? Because it uses a laser. And the laser bounces off the CD and into the computer to get the data off the CD. But if you think of your hard drive in your computer, it has a physical touching the surface. It's magnetic. And the CD is optical. So the reason why they spell it differently is so that you can differentiate between optical, D-I-S-C, and magnetic, D-I-S-K. So the hard drive inside your computer is magnetic. That's your trivia for the day. Okay, so again, if you're going to make something, let's say a CD case, I wouldn't use the DVD thing that comes with Illustrator. I would probably go to Disc Makers. They're the largest manufacturers of CDs in the United States. If you go there, you can go to their templates. I don't know what this big thing is here. They got templates in here, blank CDRs. Let's see, where's their templates? Templates. You can make Blu-rays if you want. Do you see templates anywhere? Let's just search. T-E-M-P-L-A-T-E. Template. CD, DVD template. Here it is. So they have packaging right here. You got your jewel case, your jacket, your eco wallet template. I don't know what that is. Vinyl template. Oh my gosh, they make vinyls. People still make records. Wow. Well, here's a Blu-ray. You click on the template and you can download one of their files. Most likely it's in an Illustrator format. So you download it. You can then go and I think it was the wrong one I clicked on here. No, what? Oh, it goes into some downloads folder, doesn't it? Here it is. So they have AI files right inside there. As you can see, they got Illustrator files. I don't know what a CDR is there, but they have an InDesign file, a PDF, a Quark Express document. Look at that. So you can open that up inside of Illustrator. Oh, don't have the same font, but that's okay. And I would use this because that is their template that they have for you to use so that everything is registered in the same size that they use inside of Disc Makers. So there's a variety of ways, and they have directions on how to use it. So if you're going to make something, find the printer that's making it and make sure you use their template. I know they have templates built right into Illustrator like this, but it's best to use that. Okay, so I haven't really figured out what the use of the template is really if I can't make multiple pages from the artwork. Again, the easiest way to duplicate was to use the art tool and just, what was it called? Option Shift, click and drag, and you can make multiple artwork. So let's talk about, if this is a multiple page document, you can have text that runs. So what I mean by runs, oops, I didn't want to do that, is that I could make a column here and have a bunch of text in there. Oops, that's not text in there. We want a bunch of text in there. Didn't I have something in here? Hold on. I need some text. What am I doing here? We need some text. Let's see. What is our topic? Illustrator today. Illustrator. You want to be an illustrator. Here we go. Let's copy some of this information here. And let's go back. So again, inside of Illustrator, you can have multiple page documents. Let me crank up the size. Oh, it's already big. If I paste in there and the text doesn't fit all the way, see how the text didn't fit all the way? You got your red little plus at the bottom there. You can actually run the text from one document all the way over to the other document. And it didn't work, did it? Okay, let's do it again. Click there, and then we click here. There we go. So you can have the text run from one artboard to the other so that if you make changes, like if I want to change the font size over here to a little bit bigger, oops, I guess I got to click on the whole thing. Change the font size to a little bit bigger. It should run the text all the way through. Do you see that? So you can have text that runs from one document to the other and back and forth like that. So that's some things you can do with multiple pages. I don't know what else to say. Anybody have any questions about multiple artboards? Let's talk about exporting out to PDF. Again, PDF is probably one of the most useful features inside of Illustrator. To export out as PDF inside of Illustrator, of course, you have File, Save. Under the Save option, you'll notice there is a option for, and this is going to be under the Save option, you can change the format down here to Adobe PDF right here, Adobe PDF. Once you choose the Adobe PDF, you notice it says all because it's going to export all the pages. And if I hit save, it's going to give me the PDF options. In the PDF options, let's just go through some of the features that you can have there. Of course, you want to preserve the Illustrator editing capability so that you can open this PDF up inside of Illustrator and make changes. Embed page thumbnails. I'm not really sure what that will do. But that makes, I think, you ever notice in a PDF you have like a little thumbnail that allows you to jump to pages? I think that's what it is. Optimize for fast web viewing is not checked here, and you might want to leave that off if you want to keep the quality of the pictures high quality. So it really depends on what you're doing. Am I going to give this to somebody over the internet to view it, or am I going to give this to a printer to print it? You know what I mean? If I'm going to give it to a printer to print it, I'm going to want it to be the highest quality images I can. If I'm, want somebody to download it off the internet and view it, and the quality of the pictures isn't that important to me, I might choose that. We want to view it after we save it. And create Acrobat layers from top level layers. I can't remember what that option is for. Oh, and in the compatibility up here, and I was watching the video from Adobe, and they were talking about making PDFs. They were talking about using this PDF X3 2002 right here for standard printers in the United States. Right now I said none right here, but of course I'm not going to a printer. I'm just going to view it online. And the other thing Adobe recommended doing was to leave this at Acrobat 6 compatibility right here. One of the downfalls of the older versions of Acrobat is it wouldn't use the transparency feature. You ever notice inside of Illustrator when we're designing things and making things, we can have a transparency option, right? So you can see through from one option to underneath to the things that are underneath it, right? You can have an opacity to an object. Well, in older versions of PDF, that wouldn't work. And what we used to have to do in older versions of Illustrator is that we would rasterize the transparency to get around that problem of Acrobat not being able to render the transparency. But I think with Acrobat 6, they have included the transparency in it, so that's the recommended version that Adobe has recommended. Okay, so that's the reason why. Compression-wise, again, you might want to reduce the compression down to like 150 ppi or pixels per inch. Let's say you imported a picture, right? And it's at 300. My digital camera would take pictures at 300 dpi. Okay, I have a Nikon. I can't remember, Nikon 320 something. It takes images at 300 dpi. If I brought that into Illustrator and I exported it out as a PDF, that is going to be 300 dpi. It's going to make my file, woo, do you really need your file to be so big? Do you really need the pictures to be 300 dpi? So if you're viewing it on the internet, you might want to downsample your images, and that's under compression here. Same with your grayscale images and monochrome images if you had them. Again, the color images would be a photographic. Grayscale might be a grayscale photograph. Monochrome would be a bitmap image that's in one color, I guess. That's sort of what. So you might want to consider doing that. And in addition, compressing your pictures, again, will make it smaller for you to deliver. Bleeds and marks you probably don't need if you're going to put it, send it over the internet to somebody. But of course, if you're printing, your printer might ask you to put those things on there. Output is a color conversion. If you're going to web, you really don't need to convert or change this, but Adobe's recommendation is if you're going to a printer, of course they tell you to talk to the printer first, and whoever's printing your document will most likely tell you what color conversion to use. Of course, in the United States, we use standard, I don't know, the guy on the Adobe website was talking about, using standard coated or uncoated paper. The best is to just use whatever your printer tells you to use. Okay, so that was the recommendation from Adobe. But of course, if it's online, you could say no conversion here. So, the color is important because most printing presses, or of course nobody uses really a printing press anymore. It's all digital. Has certain color profiles that you might need to match when you're exporting your colors so that they fit. The advanced option, I'm not really sure. Or print transparency. See, this is the transparency problems are only with older versions of PDF. Security, you can put a password protect on your PDF so that if somebody finds it, because one of the things you want to consider doing is not putting a PDF on your server, because Google will come and read it and then rank it, right? Let's say you wrote this wonderful article about something and you put it online for people to download and read, and you don't want Google to read it, because Google will go and read the content and then go and rank your PDF. You found PDFs in Google before, right? You search for something and it comes up with a PDF as one of the links. So be wary of that. Just keep that in mind. So let's export our PDF. If we hit Save PDF, it's going to export it out. Now, one of the problems you run into using a Macintosh computer, of course, is that Apple has their default preview option, which is not Adobe Acrobat, right? It's not. So, and by default, it opens up in this horrible preview, which is not Acrobat. So if you want to see it in Acrobat, you actually have to go and find your PDF. So let's go and find our PDF. And then I'm going to right click on my PDF and say open with Acrobat. And that way I can see it in Acrobat. Again, I made a 2-page document inside of Illustrator using multiple artboards. You'll notice I have 2 pages right here at the top. It says 1 of 2. If I click on page 2, it goes to page 2. And I click on page 1, it goes to page 1. And so, oh, here's the thumbnails. Remember it said make thumbnails over here? So you have thumbnails and so on. So that's how you can make a PDF inside of Illustrator.